My name is Mario Ruffolo. I'm a U.S. Army veteran. This is my service dog, Sarge.
What was your history with the military?
I was in the Army for 11 years. I've been to Iraq, but I was stationed in Fort Hood, Texas with the 1st Cav.
I got hurt, actually, when I was in Iraq. I had to have 3 surgeries within like a year and a half, back to back to back. I wound up getting hooked on painkillers. That's snowballed into other drugs. But I was a full-blown drug addict for many years before I got clean.
Can you recall what it felt like to go to Iraq for the first time?
So the first time it was, I didn't, it's like you see it in the movies and stuff. You never really understand it until it's like real life. For me, it flipped real quick because on my 5th day there, which is actually next week's the anniversary, April 4th, is when I lost 8 guys in one day. But that was my 5th day there, so I was like, I was defeated real quick, and I was like, this is gonna be a long freaking year, or I'm like, it's gonna be a long year. I was like, or there's no way I'm making it home. Like, I'm gonna die here. Like, this is not. I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna make it home.
More than 1.8 million U.S. troops were deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan, and while many returned, over 6,000 veterans died by suicide annually. Roughly 17 veterans lose their lives to suicide every day. Additionally, over 1.8 million veterans return with permanent disabilities, including PTSD and traumatic brain injuries. 1 in 5 troops returning from Iraq and Afghanistan show signs of PTSD, affecting their ability to make it home mentally.
I was blessed to come out alive. I don't question it anymore. I just accept it. Like, I made it and some others didn't, but I struggled with it for a long time. I still struggle with it, but I kind of learned how to, kind of push past that survivor's guilt and not blame myself all the time. It's, I have to control what I can control and not I can't suffer for anything that I can't control.
Approximately 1 million Iraq and Afghanistan veterans returned with conditions linked to mental health, which often include complex survivor's guilt and moral injuries. Veterans with a higher level of combat exposure are significantly more likely to report guilt. In a study from Harvard Gazette published in 2023, Iraq and Afghanistan veterans already diagnosed with PTSD, 25.8 specifically reported survivor's guilt. Another study found that when including all forms of post-traumatic guilt, such as guilt over actions taken or not taken, the number can rise significantly, with guilt being a factor for nearly half, 48.5% of veterans with PTSD. One of the biggest things that veterans face when they come back is a form of survivor's guilt. Can you describe to me how you combated those feelings and why you had survivor's guilt in the first place?
I just think it's like a natural feeling to have that. Like, you could have, I had somebody that was sitting right next to me 2 minutes ago, just talking to him, and now they're not there because they're the ones, they got hit and I didn't get hit. Or like another time I was waiting online to get served lunch. We're getting, they were serving food, waiting online. 5 minutes later, the same spot I was just standing in got hit with mortars, and the people that were online at that time got hit. So it's like, it's just, there's no rhyme or reason. Like, it really isn't. It's like, I was just standing there, 2 minutes ago. I made it home, but part of me feels like I died over there because I didn't come home the same person, And that's what I struggled with also. And then, with the whole drugs and everything, like, I didn't take a drug. I didn't take a vitamin before I left for the military. And then I go to the military, I got hurt, got hooked on painkillers. Now I'm injecting, I'm doing drugs, full blown craziness. Like, I wouldn't even take an aspirin before I left. So it's like, I came home with a different person, but it took time to heal, and I'm still healing. It's still a process. I still go to the VA for myself, for my care.
Based on a recent March 2026 survey from Riverside Recovery, approximately 12.7% to 13.2% of these veterans have been diagnosed with a substance use disorder. This rate is significantly higher than that of previous veteran generations and nearly double the rate of the general population. Roughly 13.2% of Iraq and Afghanistan veterans are estimated to have a substance use disorder affecting over 354,000 individuals. Alcohol is a primary substance for 65% of veterans entering treatment, with about 12 to 15% of recently deployed personnel screening positive for alcoholic problems. While alcohol is more common, approximately 27% of veterans with a substance use disorder abuse illegal drugs, with 8% abusing both alcohol and drugs. Iraq and Afghanistan veterans have reported significant higher rates of misused prescription medication, roughly 5.3% in a 30-day period in some studies. Substance abuse rates increase with combat exposure, 11% for light combat, 18% for moderate, and 29% for heavy near-death combat experiences. When did you finally decide it was time to get clean?
It was another veteran that brought me there to get me into treatment, get me into detox. He asked me straight up, he's like, I know what you're doing, I know what you're struggling with. He's like, are you ready? Do you need help? Are you ready to get clean? Are you ready to, try something new? Pain and suffering every day and being in that vicious cycle of addiction every day. I said, yeah, let's do it, So I wound up meeting him at the VA at 9 a.m. And by 2 p.m. that afternoon, I was in detox, went to rehab, and I haven't used drugs since then. It's 12 and a half years now of being clean and sober. Years later, when he was going through it, he had relapsed and gone through it. I was able to help him. So it was like a full circle for both of us, It was a wonderful thing. Veterans always taking care of other veterans,
How did Paws of War enter your life?
My first dog that I've ever had died. It was during the summertime, and I completely shut down. I'm not married, no kids. It was just me and the dog, and I had that dog for almost 16 years. When I lost him, I was kind of going back down to, a dark place again and starting to struggle. And one of my church buddies connected me with Paws of War. That was 2 years ago. Mike Colano set me up and Rob, and they got me Sarge. Within a few weeks, I was connected with the dog.
Through Paws of War, they were able to hook you up with Sarge, who's now your service animal. How did Sarge come into your life?
They just called me one day like, oh, we got a dog for you. We think it's perfect. They didn't show me any other dogs. And I really didn't even want to see any other dogs. But they sent me a video of him. And he's like, yeah, come by on Thursday. Come pick him up, take him home for the weekend, see if you like him. I'm like, all right. And then I texted Rob back later that night. I'm like, thanks for the dog. I'm keeping him,
When you first got introduced to Sarge, you mentioned that something happened to him. Can you elaborate more on that?
I was at home. My mom came over and she wanted to take the dog for a walk just around the block. So she left with him. They went on a stroll and they both got attacked by a dog. So my mom got bit and then he got bit like 2 times on his hind legs. That was rough. And I knew it hurt me. I was scared because the dog was still kind of getting used to me, so he didn't really, I don't know if he trusted me or didn't trust me, but you could tell it freaked him out. And when I had got there, it was just right around the block. I ran over there real quick, picked him up and threw him in the car and took my mom back to her house so the husband could take her to the hospital so I could take him to the vet. We were supposed to start classes right away for service dog training, but obviously that couldn't happen. Paws of War actually sent them the trainers to my house, and I did home visits for the first few weeks until he was healed and got his stitches out, and then we started to come to the classroom over here.
While Sarge was healing, you were at home taking care of him. Did you find that moment in time easier to bond? Was it easier for you guys to connect?
Yeah, I would think so, because it was just me and him just on the couch, just petting him, trying to keep him calm, just being really gentle the whole time in the beginning. Because he was super playful, and it was hard for him to slow down, He was messed up for maybe 10 days, 2 weeks. It was, he got bit up pretty good. They had to stick tubes in him to drain and all that stuff. It was a pretty bad bite. I was able to stay home and kind of nurse him back to health, and then that's kind of where our bond started to grow.
As a veteran yourself, are you able to elaborate more on why do you think a lot of veterans don't reach out for help?
Back then, you kind of were as weak, you know, having PTSD or shell shock. It was kind of like they made you like you were being a pussy. Well, now it's probably getting a little more easier for people, but maybe like 10 years ago, yeah, I would say it was not like frowned upon, but even when you're in active duty, like you don't want to be looked at the guy that's, you know, that's struggling or asking for help or can't deal or can't be counted on. You know, you want to be able to always make sure you're, you know, you put on your face, you know, be the guy, lead your men and women, and I think times are changing now, and it's being, and it's for the better too. It's definitely for the better. It's not all gun ho, you know, keep going. There's a little more empathy and compassion now. But I think we need that. I think for healing, people need to heal. People need to talk and be comfortable asking out for help.
Looking back on your entire journey through the military and meeting Paws of War and now meeting your current service dog, Sarge, you could give some advice for someone who's currently serving right now, that's going through a hard time. Would you have any advice to give to that person?
I always try to say, like, I have no regrets, or, you know, you can't change the past. The only thing I wish I would have done or I should have done, or something I'll pass on to another person, is like, I should have asked for help sooner. I wish I would have reached out to somebody sooner. If you really want to get clean, or if you're struggling with PTSD, like, you need to ask for help, and then you have to be ready to do the work. Like, it's not just an overnight thing. Like, it takes a while, but it's just one day at a time. Same as the military, always keep moving forward, you know? Don't go backwards, you know? Sometimes you got to take a quarter turn, but you're still going forward, you know? And quarter turns are okay. They're going to happen. Sometimes it takes a warrior to ask for help. Keep that mentality of never quitting, never giving up. We're strong people, very strong people.
Thank you so much for telling your story. It really means a lot, and this video is meant to spread awareness, so hopefully other veterans in need can see it and feel more comfortable reaching out. Before we wrap up, do you have any closing thoughts?
Yeah, I just want to say, you know, Paws of War has been an amazing program for me. The dog has been my best friend for the last 2.5 years. I'm hoping he and I have a good a good long life with each other. Anyone watching this will come to Red, White, and Boots. Come support this, support the mission here that we have here. You know, there's lives being changed every day here. It's a dog's life, and it's people lives too, and it's an amazing program. I'm thankful and blessed to be here. Thank you.
Join us on May 19th at the Crescent Beach Club in Bayville, New York, where we gather to honor the strength, resilience, and stories of veterans like Mario and the loyal companions who helped them heal. Presented by Paws of War, helping both ends of the leash.